become the fastest growing sport in the United States, and injuries from the game are, of course, growing just as fast. Virginia Spine Institute's Dr. Yash Mehta joins us now this morning with some tips on how you can steer clear of all those injuries while still being able to enjoy the sport.
That's the key, right? You
Yeah.
go out and have fun, but then you don't want to end up in the hospital. One of my friends, I remember the first time he played pickleball with me, unfortunately ruptured his Achilles and then couldn't play anything for about a year. So that's what we're trying to avoid today. Yeah.
Okay, so for those of us who don't play pickleball, you know, some of the things you're doing when you play pickleball are, of course, those arm movements. But people really don't think about the lateral movements, right? And those are your left to right movements that you're making when you're trying to reach for the ball, lunge for the ball. What are the most common injuries that are associated with pickleball?
Yeah, so like you actually summarized very well, pickleball is like a combination of tennis and table tennis, right? And so it is a smaller court, but it's not like table tennis where you can kind of just stand there. You have to move. And so the biggest injuries that I see are obviously people pulling their back, so like a sprained muscle, sometimes a herniation, but things that we don't think about are rotator cuff injuries, tennis elbow, or I guess we could call it pickleball elbow, and then like I said, injuring your Achilles, because these are smaller muscles that we're not always fine-tuning. And then sometimes if we're like, hey, let's go play, and this seems like an easy sport, and you just get on the court and start playing, these are the injuries that are more likely to happen.
100%. Are there people that are more susceptible to almost getting injured that aren't, maybe people that just aren't as active on a daily basis, and they think, oh, pickleball looks easy, I can just go out and hit the ball and not really do a lot of movement? Are there people that are more susceptible to it?
For sure. And, not to call anyone out, I was the same way when I picked this up. I was like, you don't have to do anything. You just go out and play. I played for 2 hours and then had a sore shoulder for about a week.
Yeah.
And so we're all human, but yeah, if we're not as active, if we're older, right, things that when our muscles are not used to being active and they're not really finely tuned or used to being worked out, this is still it's a cardiac activity. It is a sport. And so those are the people that are more likely to get injured. And so how do we prevent that?
Exactly. Treat
it like any other sport or a workout. You want to warm up for about 5 to 10 minutes. And if you're older or not as active, maybe warm up longer. And things that you want to do are obviously, like you said, lateral movements. So you want to do some dynamic stretches. You want to get your legs moving and warm out your
arms
legs.
Moving too.
Move out your arms, maybe some of these stretches and some overhand stuff. Stretch out the whole body. And then another thing is, you can see today, I'm not fashionable, but I'm wearing my court
shoes. Are so important.
Shoes are important. You want shoes that give you traction. It's not something, let me go wear my slides or my loafers and go play pickleball. And then for me, like, I have bad ankles, so I have ankle support as well.
To do that.
So you want to this is a sport. You're doing an activity. So, I've been on here before. We always talk about preventative medicine as an osteopath at VSI, right? So preventing injuries is stretching before and after, hydration, proper shoes, but we want to make sure we're mindful because, it's a sport, it's fun, but we don't want to get injured.
You can prevent it on the front side of things, but also maybe doing some sort of cool down lap. A little cool down stretching is also good on the back side of things too.
Yeah, exactly. So the back side is important, the cool down. And then you actually mentioned lateral movement and asked me about maybe posture.
Yeah.
And so I think some things that I think about are, if the ball's coming to you and as we get older, if we're on the backs of our feet and you're bending over to pick up the ball or hit the ball, it's hurting your back. So you want to bend with let's say the ball's on the ground. This is not a good way to pick up the ball if you're doing it for about an hour. If you want to get down with onto your knee and use that for supports, you're not stretching your back. Same thing in pickleball. One thing that's important just for being good at the sport is net play. But it actually makes sense for your body. If you get closer to the net around that, where the kitchen line is, and then you're playing up here and you're kind of crouched, well, now you're taking less load on your back versus if you play further back, now you got to bend up, you got to bend over.
There really is a skill to it, and definitely learn it before you go out there. Obviously, we have preventative measures, in place to be able to kind of combat it as much as you can, but really learn the rules. It's all you need to know before you get out and do pickleball. And if you do get hurt, you can, of course, visit you. Where can we find more information for you?
So obviously, I'm at Virginia Spine Institute. I'm an osteopath, and we treat all types of injuries. You can visit us online at vsispine.com. And you said, learn the sport, but also make sure you're taking care of the body. So also stretch.
Take care of your body, stretch, do all of these things. Thank you. Of course, great advice. All right, wait, let me have the ball. Ready? We'll see you after the break, and no, I won't hit the camera.
That's pretty good.